Yes, we are. We are at the USS Iowa here in California. BB-61. A lot of history in these big old boats. Served all the way from World War II to Operation Desert Storm. Beautiful piece of naval history and architecture. Ready to go on board?
Yep.
Haven't done this in a few years. Let's see what we got here. 887 feet long, 180 feet wide, 37 foot below the water, 174 feet from the waterline to the top of the mast, 58,000 tons of displaced water.
Picture, please.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we can go all the way up to the bow, but we can get pretty close and look at the anchor chains. 2 anchors, 30,000 pounds each. Whew. 225 horsepower winches for those things. CeCe's over there making friends with the pigeons. These big, massive ropes for tying up the ship. We were always trained, never get in the way of these things and never step over them. When they snap, it does bad things to the human body. And that's as far as we can get to the bow, unfortunately. And there she is, head on. The size of those guns, amazing.
It should be nice to sit down there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments, but I believe that the shells fired out of these things would go about 16 miles. Did I read that right somewhere? I need a battleship sailor to help me out with that fact, or fiction, or misguided information. Well, that shell is bigger than you, babe.
I know, it's taller than
CeCe, go stand by that shell. Let's see how you compare to our 16-inch gun turret shell. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think, folks? Should we put her in and see if she can get shot 16 miles? So for all of our fans out there watching, if you do come here, this is a self-guided tour. They've got your arrows on the floor and arrows to show you how and which ways to go to enjoy the entire ship, or at least those parts of it that you're allowed to see. Oh yeah, I missed that smell.
May I order, please?
This is where you dump your dirty dishes. The scullery.
Same like your carrier before?
No, ours was a little bigger, but this may not be like the main one. Say hello to the YouTube community from the officers' award room on the USS Iowa, Miss CeCe. Say hello.
Conference or what?
Well, it's just where they would chill out after eating, I guess. This is for the officers, not the enlisted folk. Yeah, you see the officers, they had nice fine china to dine on, whereas we had the old brown plastic trays.
There.
Executive officer stateroom. Fancy.
Executive.
Yeah, look at that. He's got his little TV there. Nice picture of the ship on the wall. Nice sofa. His bunk must be through that door over there. I don't know, maybe that's his head. Not sure. Sorry, bathroom. Interesting. As is pretty typical with most Navy ships, not a lot of headroom. Yeah, this would be an officer's stateroom. A couple of bunks. Cabinets. A little workspace there. Senior officer's stateroom. Excuse me. Yeah, logged a minute or two sitting on those things in my time. And taking a shower. They're getting rickrolled in that bathroom. Well, I don't think you can see that very well in the video, but that's going down about 5 decks. And apparently that is going down to a storage area for munitions. There's the gunpowder canister. Interesting. More officers' living space. Pretty nice. Considering, you know, it's a battleship. Nice accommodations for them. It's the Navy stairs. See how CeCe navigates the Navy staircase, otherwise known as the ladder. Not bad. Oh, rangefinder. Look over the center of the rangefinder. Rotate to select a target. Look through the eyepiece. Target will appear split. Turn red knob to align it. Distance the target in yards is shown below. Fascinating. Does it work? There she goes. Man, navigating that ladder like a seasoned, salty dog sailor. I guess that's where you get in to be the guy that sits in there and operates it, huh?
It's the tank? Water tank?
No, it's a gun.
Oh, this one?
Like this. Same as this.
Oh, or where the bullets are.
Yeah. Well, this is where all the junior sailors would hang out, because that's where their cleaning supplies are. Oh, wow. Send some signal lights out to that sailboat, babe. Send them an SOS.
What's that?
Signal is a signal light. So if they wanted to maintain radio silence, right, and not have their transmissions intercepted by the bad guys, then they communicate with the other ships using Morse code with the light. So you just
The signal.
Dude.
It's a compact.
yeah. I don't think it's going to work very well without that cable connected.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not a battleship guy, but I'd assume maybe a 6-inch gun, judging by the barrel size. I don't know. Ask me about airplanes. That I can help you with.
How many-
Battleship stuff? No clue.
How many bullets they have there?
That's classified. I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Somebody's look up here.
All right, Captain, take a chair.
Oh, stop.
So we're in a command area right now. The chief officer, maybe the captain. Probably not the captain. He'd be on the bridge, I would guess. I'm here, babe. I'm here. The flag plot area. Dark, but at night, this is what we dealt with on the ships. This was all the light we had because they didn't want light to escape the ship and be seen from anyone that may be an adversary out on the water. Some more signaling equipment here, and a view, and some information about Iowa's service ribbons.
Where from here?
Yeah, these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ribbons.
The Muck, the Meritorious Unicom. I got one of those on the Carl Vinson, along with the WWII. Got the Armed Forces Expeditionary Ribbon. Got the Sea Service Deployment Ribbon with a couple of stars. Mine only has 1 star, only 2 deployments.
Philippine ribbon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah. So up here, and then you see the bigger ones there. Going up.
I start.
I'm not a sir. I was enlisted. We did the work. Yeah, this is the sun deck. It's the promenade deck. We'll be in the pool in a minute. There you go. And there was your phone, just in case you had to, it's zip tied in there. Just in case you had to communicate to someone.
They give me alarm.
Yeah.
Not to touch.
Yeah, it's probably the get out of that chair alarm. The bells used to mean that somebody important was coming on board the boat.
Oh. Mr. President.
Babe, trivia for you. What do you think that means? WTD. D is door, right? So what do you think WT is? Think about ships. Watertight.
Watertight.
This one, QA. Quick acting, watertight door. Quick acting meaning it's only got one handle. So you can open and close it.
It's like the engine and the captain's deck. This is where they watch, I guess, monitor.
Yep.
Enemies come in, prepare for attack.
Oh, look at that.
What's that?
Well, that's the bridge. That's where, I think that's where they're driving the ship in there. And this is designed so bullets can't penetrate.
Okay.
You'd probably find that this is really hardened. Yeah. See? It's kind of like a tank, really, with just small little slits to look out.
Yeah.
So you'll see this like in every space on the ship, every compartment.
Serial number.
It's a location.
Oh.
So this is a 04. The first one is the level. So we are on the 4th level above the main deck. Below the main deck, and I think the main deck on these is probably considered the just the deck, right? On the aircraft carrier, the main deck was the hangar deck. Even though the flight deck was higher, the hangar deck was considered the main deck. So below the main deck, if it just had 4 instead of a 0, then that actually meant 4 levels below the main deck. And then I don't remember exactly what one of this is, like frame number. So I think there were 84 construction frames from the front of the ship, and then left, and then the other side would be right. Some of this stuff I can't remember it all, because that was like boot camp training. Because for us in aviation, we didn't care about this stuff. We're aviation guys, right? But this is critical for like search and rescue, the fire people on the ship. So if there's a compartment fire, what you would hear is you'd hear the bells like ding, 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 ding. Then you'd hear fire, 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 fire on compartment 04 DAC, 84 TAC, 0 TAC Lima. And then the fire guys would know where to run to put out the fire. Looks like R2-D2 from Star Wars, right?
Oh yeah.
Close-ins weapons system. Like if all else had failed and there was an anti-ship missile heading to the boat, that's the last thing that's going to try and take it out. And it's very loud and shoots off an awful lot of shells in just a few seconds.
That's the window, huh?
Yeah.
There's a small window.
Yeah, tiny little window for looking out for driving the ship, right?
I know.
It's tiny.
That's small. How can I monitor it small?
Well, you wouldn't want it to be very big. If someone's shooting at you, you don't want a bullet to go through a big old window, right?
Oh yeah, this is how it looks like. I guess inside.
Well, that's the electronic warfare cruise missile defense. So if you got anti-ship missiles coming at you, this is the equipment that is sensing them and then telling that gun to fire. R2-D2 over there. So 3,000 rounds a minute.
A minute?
With a range of 2,000 yards. Bullets were made of depleted uranium. 1,000 rounds stored in the gun itself. Thousands more stored in the ready service lockers under each mount. Nickname for these units is R2-D2, as their white dome resembles the famous droid in the Star Wars movie. See, I didn't lie to you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we called that thing.
Right.
SR Buck missile defense. So this is the chaff. So the missile can no longer track. There's the launchers. Probably really impressive when these things fire off, I would imagine, because it's pretty cool watching them come out of an airplane, so I imagine it would be even better watching them come out of here. CeCe's headed for the sun. Her solar panels need some exposure. Her internal battery's running a little low. Babe, these are probably maybe a harpoon launcher. Yeah, harpoon.
That's cool that they can shoot like farther.
Yeah, you don't want to be standing here when one of them goes off either.
You'll have a big PTSD.
it'll burn your mustache. See, look, there's like the jet blast for it to stop it from, you know.
Yeah. Spilling oil.
No, the jet blast, the smoke and the, you know, you've seen a rocket launch, right?
Yeah.
1984 Cold War conversion. So during the Cold War, Iowa was outfitted with more modern weapons and technology. 4 twin 5-inch guns. Okay, they're 5, so I guess I was close when I said 6. Tomahawk missiles, harpoons, the R2-D2s, 4 of those. You know, the warfare got a little bit more advanced as time wore on, but yet this ship from World War II was still extremely effective for the Cold War threat. And there is the harpoon. 75-mile range, built by Boeing. And I believe the Tomahawk was built by Hughes, I think. There's a nice shot of it there, head on. All right, there you go, 5-inch, 38 caliber mounts. So I was close. I think I said 6-inch. My estimation was off. But there we go. That's where they all are. Ah, cool.
You see your bunk bed?
Ah, yep, that's berthing compartment. This is where the real people slept.
Teeny,
Oh.
huh? It's like our trailer bunk bed.
Yeah. I always went for the top.
I like also the top.
The top was better because you had a little bit of headroom. You could sit up. You could put your knees up, right? The bottom was the worst because when sailors would come in drunk, you know, they'd puke or pee all over the floor and it would splatter into your rack. So that was gross. So I always went for a top rack. Oh, the old rack curtains. Look at that. Oh, yeah. That brings back some memories.
Like a little privacy
Yep.
from the light.
Wow. Yeah. Boy, that... You ever feel something or touch something that takes you back about 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's doing that right now.
So where are your cabinets?
Right here.
So those are your cabinets.
But ours was a little different. On ours,
I think
we had what they call a coffin locker. Like this one's got it, see?
Okay.
So that lifts up and you can put stuff down there. But on our ship and our racks, everybody had a coffin locker, like the bottom one. And then everybody had a stand-up.
Oh, so that's also for you.
Yeah, so one. You had one. One
Extra.
That was it. One of these, and then your coffin locker was what we had.
So you have limited things, huh?
And this was your how to climb up.
Steps too. Yeah. Cool.
Climb up to the top. I think ours were a little higher too. And that's probably because we had the coffin locker. Because I think our top bunk was probably up here. Because this part was thicker because it had that locker in it.
Yeah.
You know what that's for? That strap?
Yeah.
What?
You strap your body.
Heavy seas, so you don't roll out.
Yeah.
Remember when we went
I
on
think
the
you remember.
went on the Amtrak train and yeah, but we didn't have those on the carrier. And then this here is your emergency breathing apparatus. You throw that on your, in case this place is filled with smoke, then you throw that on your head so you can still breathe.
Okay. This is your.
And that was our lounge, you know.
Lounge.
That was our lounge space.
We're just kidding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not where we ate. In fact, we were not allowed to eat in our berthing compartment.
You have like a canteen.
Yeah, I'm sure that this will take us there to the mess deck. So we found our way out now to, well, the museum and ship store. But I was telling CeCe that everything in here is painted black, so the light doesn't escape at night when you leave a compartment. So before you open that external door over there, where you can see the container ships outside, you would first have to close this one to avoid the light from escaping, the light pollution, because the enemy could see that, and then you just gave away your position to the bad guys.
Now we're going down.
Again.
This is the lock, I guess, cover for this.
Yeah.
They have to close that all the time. This one.
Not all the time. If you were at like general quarters, which means the ship's under threat, or you were going through a potential threatening zone, then they would close all these types of hatches. For the reason, in case you get hit with a missile or bomb, then the water doesn't flood.
Oh, flood.
Yeah. See, these are a little higher.
Yeah.
That's because each one of the 3 levels has that coffin locker. See the bottom one that's open?
Yeah.
That's where we kept our clothes. Like. And then like your pressed uniforms, you'd keep them in your stand-up locker.
Ah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, all 3 of those have the coffin locker, is what we call it.
Let's go. Now we can see the.
But this is what we had at night. It was never perfectly dark when we were sleeping. It was always with the red light. It was always like that from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Commander Master Chief.
Command Master Chief. This is the guy you didn't want to talk to if you got in trouble. He's a guy that's been in the Navy for 35 years, and he doesn't take any crap off of anyone. You remember Al? You met him at our work dinner? Yeah. He was a Command Master Chief on the USS Kennedy, I think. Could you imagine walking through this boat if you didn't have the yellow arrows?
Yeah.
How you know where you're going?
Nope.
Just like a maze.
Yeah.
The carrier was exactly the same as that. You know, we knew on the carrier, I knew where my berthing compartment was, where my workshop was, how to get to the flight deck, the hangar deck, and the mess decks, and the medical facility, but I had no clue about any of the other spaces on that ship. I never saw it.
Oh, because
so when we've been on this boat, and then the Midway in San Diego, I've seen more of this ship and that ship than I did of the one I was actually based on.
Well, you are not allowed to roam around.
Well, you had no reason to, and you'd get lost.
Hello.
Oh yeah.
Next.
Ham and cheese omelet, please.
Mac and cheese, please. Corn. Everything in there in my plate, please. That's a big one. This is their kitchen serving.
Yeah.
This is their storage for sure.
Maybe a pantry. On our ship, we had a whole bunch of these in our workshop, and we would go down to the ship store and buy frozen like burritos, and we'd bring them back up. If we missed the regular chow time, we'd bring them back up to the shop and set them on here for half an hour, flip them over for half an hour, and they'd be nice and warm to eat after about an hour.
You have to be careful, the one is always hot.
And then the next day, we would have food poisoning from doing that.
I remember those kind of,
Ours weren't quite like this. They were plastic, but still kind of cool. We had like this in boot camp, but on the ship we had plastic ones. And our cups were much smaller. They were glass too. There you go. The enlisted mess. And this is about the size of like what we had on the carrier, but it was in three different spaces. So it was 3 times this size, obviously, but it was huge. But the same chairs, same table and chairs. This is exactly what we had.
This reminds me, in Philippines, you have like this kind of fast food in Philippines, like that kind of style. CeCe.
For old time's sake.
I'll take a picture.
That brings back some memories. Well, as we wrap up another video, and as always, we thank you for watching. Just wanted to talk about this model really quickly. That ship, 9 feet long in there. It's actually a Missouri, not the Iowa. But we spoke for about 30 minutes with the guy that designed it, a former naval architect. Take him 3 years to do that. And if you want to buy one, it's about $38,000. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and the last photo of this video is going to be a clue of an upcoming video that's also got a nautical theme that you can see on the channel soon. Anyway, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.